Rev up your engines! Today I'm going to show you something that most people don't even know exists, and it keeps Hondas from having problems with their automatic transmissions. Now, Honda makes pretty good cars. This is a 2004 Accord. It's got almost 200,000 miles, still runs good, but a lot of them in the past, especially the older ones, had problems with their automatic transmissions. And as far as I'm concerned, a lot of it comes down to poor maintenance. Many people don't realize that a car like this 2004 Honda Accord has an automatic transmission filter that is external to the transmission. It's not inside, it's on the outside, just like the Saturns. The Saturns had a spin-on filter that looks just like an oil filter. This has an inline filter. So when you change the Honda automatic transmission fluid, of course, make sure you use the original Honda fluid. You can see Honda Genuine. They're very particular about that. But you also need to change this filter. But it isn't where you normally see them. On some of the Hondas, you can't mess with the transmission filter because it's just a screen that's inside the transmission. You would have to split the transmission, pull it off. It's like a 10.5-hour job for a mechanic at 150 bucks an hour. This is a much easier job if only you know where the filter is. So I'm going to show you while I service this car. All right, you look at it, you don't see it. So you got to take a few things off to access it. The first thing we do is remove the air box. So we got to take the air filter box out. It unscrews. There's 4 bolts. Then we'll pull it out of the way. There's all kinds of crap in the way. You got to unfasten hoses and stuff. Be sure not to break them. Then you unbolt the little air box, bottom of it. A lot of plastic crap in the way, that's for sure. There we go. That stupid thing's out of the way. And hiding down here, there's the filter right there. That's the transmission filter. Notice it's exactly the same as this, just you got a fat end and a skinny end, put it back the same way. Now we don't want to make a mess, so I'll put a drain pan under. In this case, the drain pan doesn't fit, so I'll jack it up a little. Gotta jack it up anyway to get under there to drain the fluid. Now the filter just has clips on it, so you want to squeeze the clips in. A right angle pliers works best because it's at a right angle. As you can see, it squeezes the clamp you pull out of the way, and there's another one on the back. Now I realize, been on there all those years, the hoses will stick. Once you get the clamp off, leave it bolted to the transmission, the filter assembly, then pry the end off with a hose so you can get it off. Otherwise, it's going to be real hard taking it apart. The longer the screwdriver, the better. And once you've pried the end, you can pull it off easier. There. Now we got it off. Then you can take the bolt off that holds the bracket on. Out comes the bracket, we'll take the other hose off. And out it comes. Just remember to put the new one in the same way. It just slips on, and you squeeze the clamps back on. Now in this case, it's such a pain in the butt putting those clamps on. I'm putting regular screw clamps in. It makes it easier. They just the other clamps because it's cheaper to make them. The screw clamps are easier to get on and off and actually are better. As you can see down here, screw clamps are easy to get to. You don't have to squeeze the clamp. You can just screw it on, leave the other ones like I heard anything. We'll use these and they'll last longer and they're easier to take on and off. Now you can see it's a pretty easy process. Most people never do it. They don't know the filter's there. You can't see it until you take stuff apart. So a lot of these Honda transmissions were ruined because the filters got clogged up, didn't filter right, pressures are wrong, and the transmissions would wear out. So if you got a Honda with a filter, replace it. And it is a Honda, since the transmissions are automatic, somewhat weak. And old ones like this, I advise changing the fluid filter every 30,000, 40,000 miles. I don't care. Filter and fluids are cheap. Transmissions cost thousands and thousands to have done over correctly, and half the time they don't do it right. So do that. Well, now we're going to change the fluid. I'll show you how easy it is to do in a Honda. They just got a drain plug on the bottom. And this old one even has a dipstick for the transmission so you can measure it. There it is. You have to take the drain bolt out and have a pan under it. It's the same as the 3/8 inch ratchet that goes in there. Now this one's in real tight, so I'm going to need an extender bar. You can get them on and you can break it loose. Pull on it. You heard it crack. Now it'll come off. And as you can see here, that fluid's pretty black and dirty. You want to change it. And the reason you want to change it every 30 or 40,000 miles is because you're only draining a small part of it out. A lot of it will still be inside the torque converter. You'd have to take the transmission apart after that. So you're only diluting it by putting some new fluid in. That's why you want to do it often, so that it doesn't get the chance of building up and getting really dirty. This baby's got almost 200,000 miles on it. Now it's a Honda, they're pretty well made. The previous owners obviously have not taken such great care of it, so it even looked like it was the original filter, to tell you the truth. Now when it's done dripping, put it on nice and tight so it doesn't leak. Then you put the fluid back in. Now, in a more modern car that does not have a dipstick, truthfully, what you have to do is measure the fluid that comes out, put the same amount back in. But this baby's got a dipstick, so we can just pour it in and keep measuring it with a dipstick. And okay, my all data information system says it takes 3 quarts when you change it, so we'll put in 3, then we'll measure it. Easy enough on this because it's got a dipstick. Fill out the dipstick, stick in a funnel, and pour 3 quarts of the Honda genuine automatic transmission fluid. Hondas are pretty particular. I stick to Honda fluid. Okay, that's all full now. So put the dipstick back in. Before we drive it, the customer wants the antifreeze changed too. That's another thing that people often forget about. Now we got the correct fluid, Asian, Honda 1990 and up. Drain it, you gotta find the drain plug. And in this case, you look down there, there's the drain plug right there, that white part right there. That's the drain plug, so we'll get it from the bottom. The Japanese are smart. We're under the car now. They make the drain plugs out of plastic so they don't rust and they come out easy. You just turn them until the fluid starts flowing out. There we go. Now while it's draining, here's a trick. You want to keep the thermostat open, and cold water closes the thermostat. So get your coolant, put it in a big pot with water, and then heat it up. Away we go. Because when you do this, the water, when it gets hot, will make the antifreeze hot. So when you pour the new antifreeze in, it won't be cold. It'll be hot. And since it's hot, that will keep the thermostat open. So when you fill it, it'll fill it and you get rid of most of the air. If you put cold coolant in, you'll have to fill it up and then run it. And then sometimes it'll start to overheat because there's too much air in the system. This gets rid of all of the air because the thermostat will stay open and it'll fill the car almost completely. You can see this coolant's pretty good. It's got the kind of bluish tinted Honda coolant. The previous owners, he bought this as a used car. The previous owners obviously took good care of it because it's not dirty at all. You still want to change it like once every 5 or 6 years or every 100,000 miles. And when it's done dripping, just grab the plastic piece, pair of pliers, get it nice and snug so it doesn't leak. Then get your fresh heated up coolant out of the boiling water, break the stupid seal, bend it out of the way and pour the coolant in. And start the car with the heater on full blast. As it warms up, check the coolant, add it if you need any, get the air out. Now Honda's different than other cars. Hondas, you warm them up, put them in gear, forward, reverse, shut it off, and within 30 seconds, you then check the fluid within 30 seconds of shutting it off. You don't leave them running like other cars. Honda's weird like that. Now we'll check it, and lo and behold, it's on the max where it's supposed to be. Now we're taking it for a road test, see how it's doing. Airbag lights on, no surprise it wouldn't be working, but still got some get up and go to it. As we do the twisties, it still handles decently. The heater's definitely working good. I gotta roll the windows down, I'm getting so hot. Pretty smooth into second gear, pretty smooth into third gear. Temperature gauge right in the middle where it should be. So now you know the hidden automatic transmission filter that some of these Hondas have that no one ever changes. And if you do, it might still shift as good as this old thing that's got almost 200,000 miles on it. You also learned why you want to change the transmission fluid, why you want to change the coolant in your car every so many years, because eventually it does break down. Fluid, filter, coolant is cheap. Engines, transmission, radiators, water pumps are expensive. Do the simple maintenance first. And here's some bonus questions and answers. I haven't said, since we're in the winter, my truck starts and then dies, but then it starts fine. I have gas, didn't let it go the last quarter of the tank. Generally, that means you're not getting enough fuel. Because you said after it doesn't start and it dies, then you start it, and then it runs perfectly fine. It means you're probably not getting enough fuel. First, change the fuel filter. It could easily just be a clogged fuel filter, right? If it isn't, what you want to do is, after you change the filter, you can only check it after you change the filter. After you change the filter, when it's cold, put a gauge, do a pressure test of the fuel pump, and if the pressure is low, you got to replace the fuel pump because it's not pumping the fuel up fast enough. Now you say it happens once in a while, but then it runs okay. It's starting to get weak. So I mean, as long as it does that, you can drive it around. Just realize that if it is getting weak, eventually it will stop entirely. And do you really want to stop it when you're driving down the road on the highway? No. So change the filter, pressure test. If it's weak, then replace the pump, and you won't have to think about it breaking in the near future, because it probably will. If it's got low pressure upon startup, eventually it'll have low pressure all the time when it wears out entirely. Kaizen says, just saw your video on the Stellantis car care program. What do you think about if it was Toyota? I would never want a Stellantis product, but what if Toyota had a car share program? Okay, if they did, yeah, but I doubt that Toyota ever will. The reason that Stellantis starts up this car share program is because they can't sell their stupid cars to such crap. So they think of any way possible to get those things out on the street and getting them making money. Toyota, on the other hand, sells all the cars they make, so they don't need such gimmicks to get their cars out there. If they did have a car share, yeah, you know, it would be great because they're probably the most reliable cars out there. But I doubt that they'd ever do it because they sell their cars. They don't have a problem getting rid of them. That's why companies like Volvo and stuff, they were even trying, well, you can lease one for 1 month and get another one the next month, because they got to get these things out of the showrooms because nobody's buying them. I doubt if Toyota would ever have a car share program because they sell them. But if they did, yeah, it'd probably be a good idea. But like I say, I doubt if they'll ever do it because they're not having problems selling their cars. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.